or cold soak on the skins, and followed by a traditional fermentation, and it's done. And it will be bottled, it looks like, in 3 weeks, so we're kind of excited about that.
Wow.
New wine.
What's the name of that one?
Rosato.
Rosato.
Yes. Yeah, so be looking for that. That should be fun. We've tried it, we like it. We're pretty happy with our first effort.
Cool.
The principal grape is Cabernet Franc.
Yeah.
And as you may know, Cabernet Franc is one of the regular rivers that does particularly well in this area, in this region.
In cold hardy?
Yeah.
What do you find the best-selling wine inside is?
Well, I say this with some degree of ambivalence. The cash cows for the Finger Lakes wineries are very sweet wines. Wines with 6% residual sugar.
Yep.
This creates sort of a dilemma because wine aficionados and winemakers are not fond of sweet wines.
Right.
They're looking for dry vinifera. But the market is very oriented towards sweet wines. I don't know about Niagara Frontier. I've been there twice, and I don't think they have the number of sweet wines that you would find in a typical Finger Lakes winery. But one of the biggest sellers in Finger Lakes is a sweet wine produced by Hazard. It's called Red Cat. They produce close to 200,000 gallons.
Yeah, they produce like
if you go to
25 times our entire production in one wine. Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. And so there you have it. But the model's repeated. It's not just them. There's Red Zeppelin. There's a lot of other wineries have their knockoffs.
After following years of resistance, we finally succumbed. So now we have a rival to Red Cat, which we call Bellissimo, and it's
quickly
flies out the door.
Quickly zoom to the second best-selling wine every month, and we released it first last spring. It's our youngest wine before the Rosato. It's been out 1 year. We made 700 gallons. We ran out. We made 1,400 gallons this year. We doubled it. I'm sure we'll run out.
Yeah. Wow.
So you know.
And we have
two other
wines in that category. Not quite as sweet, but and they're very popular.
What's your favorite wine that you make there?
It depends on the season. Spring, summer, I particularly like our Chardonnay. And I like our dry Riesling. Saval. And depending on the occasion, the Vignoles. We're one of the few wineries that, by no means the only one, but one of a handful of wineries that will make the Vignoles grape in a dry table wine style. Most other wineries will vinify it as a sweet wine. They'll leave it in the hang long so it gets detritus, and that's the way to sell it. So the sweet wines and the ice wines are big sellers as well. Of course, the Niagara Frontier, these wineries, and the Canadian bench and the Niagara bench are the ones that really made ice wine famous.
Yeah. We tried a couple of those back a couple weeks ago. Pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Let's say I'm finishing up here. Albeit we are upstate New York, and Cornell and Ithaca and all the vineyards around here I think are a pretty well-kept secret. What would you say to one of those wine aficionados from Upper Napa Valley or the Bordeaux region? Why does New York wine need to be appreciated?
Well, I think it's only a matter of time. And in our case, it's evolving particularly slowly because you don't have deeply capitalized wineries like you would have out in California and even Oregon and Washington State. So most of them started mom and pop enterprises. So in place of financial capital, it's really sweat capital that got these wineries going. And now the about to reach the second generation stage when if their family members of age who are interested in going into the business and about to start taking over. And failing that, many of the original developers are reaching a stage now where they're getting superannuation of retirement. There's no family member to take over or put it on the market. Now the question is, this next stage of development, will it be characterized by people who have made their money elsewhere and are looking for a lifestyle? But that's a good project for you to take on. Right.
And I think another...
right, and what is likely to be the next stage of development for the wineries?
I think...
Given the fact that they all started as mom and pop enterprises.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now they've reached an element of respectability, and acceptance, so that it's no longer a guessing game as to whether or not grapes will do well here. You know, the Rieslings have an outstanding reputation, and in our own experience and that of other wineries, you can make a very competitive Chardonnay here. And it's for the reds, Cabernet Franc can be very competitive. And if you, depending on the creativity of the winemaker and what have you, through blending, you can really enhance just about any wine by blending sometimes as little as 1% of something else. Now, you know, legally, you can have a Cabernet Franc and have colored Cabernet Franc and have 25% of something else in that. But we seldom blend to that degree. Almost all our wines are about 90% of varietal, and maybe 10% of other varietals. And our final selection. But blending makes a big difference. Of course, that's probably the most creative and the most fun part of winemaking.
And I have something to add to that because it's interesting. What would you tell other, what would you tell other people, Bordeaux regions and people from Napa, what to look for in the Finger Lakes? And if you think about people that really enjoy wine, while they might have their house favorites, or they might have their, they might gravitate, like, I'll admit right up front, I gravitate towards Zinfandels. I like a big jammy Zinfandel, which we can't grow here yet. Maybe in a globally warming climate we can, and very politically incorrect, but I'll throw that out there. It might be fun. But if you really enjoy wine, at least most of the people that I know, they like enjoying different wines, tasting different things. And a lot of, there is a little bit of snobbery, to be sure, in this arena of wine tasting and wine enjoyment and wine appreciation. But the Seyval, the Vignoble, the Cayuga, some newer varieties, Chardonnays, Tramenettes, these are all nice, these all make nice wines. And as Roger said, with a little blending, a little more creation, it's lovely to try all of the different things that do well in the Finger Lakes. Shorter growing season. There are really a myriad of wine varieties that are lesser known that are lovely and reach very nice characteristics. And I think they're going to come on. People are discovering our Seyval. It doesn't enjoy great name recognition, but everybody knows about Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Gris, of which the Seyval Blanc is very, very similar to, and in some vintages can be just stunning. So I would say, don't poo-poo some of these hybrids that are here, and pay attention to them and give them a try, because they can be really dynamite and not known in a new tasting experience for people who like to try new wines.
Well, as wine consumers become more sophisticated, they also become more curious and
Yes.
more experimental, and are always looking to try something new.
Yeah.
The wine consuming public in the United States is very young for the most part. We don't have a culture of wine drinking yet. But your generation, the generation that preceded you, certainly into wine to a much greater degree than their parents ever were, or their grandparents. Now, to get back to this next stage of development, why would people from outside the region be interested in buying a winery or starting a winery in this area? And among other things, the purchase of raw land, the purchase price of raw land. If you're going to buy, if you want to start a vineyard in Niagara Escarpment, what would you pay in Canadian dollars? Any idea?
Ooh,
Per
paying
acre?
a little bit more than over here.
I would say you're probably talking about $15,000 to $20,000. In Napa, you're talking over $40,000. Here, you can buy acreage that's suitable for growing grapes for $3,000 to $4,000, and sometimes less. You don't have certain disease problems that you have out in the West Coast. What's it? The sharp. What's the name of the beetle I'm trying to think of that's creating such a problem in California and in Oregon? The
Sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter. That's it.
That's
Right. That's not a problem here. Also, it's not a problem. We don't have a high water table here, so that you have to worry about the pollution. But if you're out in Long Island, which is certainly a more popular site for people with money who want to get into the wine business, you have all kinds of problems in terms of disposal of wastewater because you have a very shallow water table.
You got the city right
And you have other problems. The price of land, acreage, for example. So this is ideal. I mean, the first generation of owners have demonstrated it can be done, and you can make wines that are highly competitive, and in some cases world class. Most people consider the Riesling to be world class. So it's all here. It's just awaiting the next stage of development, and a lot of that down to marketing.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, I hope our generation
All right.
can provide that development
All right.
for you. On that, Roger, Paul,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Cheers.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
This is
Yep.
our
Cabernet Franc.
Cabernet Franc.
Just released about 10 days ago, and it's already got a silver
All right.
and a gold in competition. So,
Wow.
Cheers, everyone.
cheers. All right, I don't have a glass, but no, I want to.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.